We were so looking forward to interview the couple for today's episode, as we followed them before they closed the distance. So a few weeks ago, they managed to close distance. It's quite fresh, and they're going to share their experience and what they did to close the gap. Welcome to International Love Story, a podcast about long-distance relationships. My name is Christina.
My name is Ignacio.
And today we are hosting Jess and Tuomas, reunited and living in Finland. So how are you guys doing?
Doing great. It's amazing, so crazy to think that we were able to close the distance this year. Doing good.
Enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you're doing, where you're originally from, and when you moved to Finland. Just tell us all about you.
About me. I'm a student at the Turku University, study history of Finland. I'm from southern Finland, Helsinki area.
I'm Jasmine. I'm from Virginia in the United States. I have a long-distance relationship blog and Instagram called Jazz Up Your Wanderlust, and it's just about our story as a long distance couple, as well as giving tips and advice. We closed the distance October 19th this year. It was a crazy journey between having everything ready in a binder for going through customs and talking to so many border police, border guards and everything, showing them the laws that Finland allows couples to come to their country. And it was a moment that we put a lot of work in and didn't think it would happen this year. But then luckily, and with all our preparation, it was able to happen.
How long did you plan it for?
Yeah, so we started probably 2 years ago, researching the paperwork, the visa process, all the documents needed. And that was also when we both started to make a financial plan for ourselves to save money for closing the distance.
It was after my last meetup when I came to the US.
Yeah.
When we decided to working on a date for when you come. So it was originally going to be
in December.
Yeah. And then gradually, we just gradually moved it a bit forward a couple of times to the point where you came in October instead.
Yeah, and we kept moving it up because of just how crazy this year has been. If everything was good to go as is, there was no sense in waiting too long and then suddenly not being able to come out here anymore.
Yeah.
Because everything was changing so fast. It felt like we only had a window of opportunity to actually do it in.
And here you are, living your life in Finland with the love of your life.
It's been great. It's this time we can slow down and do things at our own pace. It's not rushing from here to there to figure out how much of a memory we can fit into a small amount of time. Yeah. It's now we can enjoy those little days of doing absolutely nothing, reading together, playing video games, and I'm reading. It's those small moments.
And even we both basically work here.
Yeah.
You work, I study, and we do that together.
So you feel like you arrived?
It was actually a couple of days ago. It was actually Friday. I felt like I've actually arrived and that I have arrived to my life here. Life is now starting. In the first month, it felt like it was just another meetup. And then Friday, he was playing pool. I went to the gym and I was leaving the gym to meet him up, and then we were going to walk home together. And I was texting one of my friends from back home, and it was just in that moment I felt, I was dang, I'm here. My life is here. I get to really live with this person that I love so much and that I've dreamed about living with for so long. Like this moment's actually here.
How did it make you feel when you realized it?
So happy, especially because I was like listening to 2000s like hip hop and R&B in the middle of Finland, and I know no one would know any of those song references, but it was still like nice. Like, oh, like I can still be me. I can still like vibe and do the things I've always loved doing here. So, and then it's just so nice to have Tuomas around all the time.
So great to see you happy. So, I mean, you guys can't see Jess' face right now, but she's smiling like a Honigkuchenpferd, as you would say in German, which means honey, now I have to translate it, Honigkuchenpferd, honey cake horse. So this is what we say if we see someone smiling from one side of the face to the other. So someone is smiling like a Honigkuchenpferd. It's nice to see you happy. We're happy for you guys. Besides that, I mean, you made a bold move by moving to Finland, leaving your hometown behind, your family and friends. How was it? Like, how was it saying goodbye to everything you were used to before, not really knowing 100% what's going to expect you next?
This question has so many feelings and emotions, like, or my answer to it has so many feelings and emotions behind it. For me personally, like I've lived by myself and have started like a new life for myself, like moving around all of Virginia. I'm close with my family, but in comparison to like Tuomas and his family, like we don't share that closeness. Like we hit each other up, hey, what's up? And have family gatherings and stuff. So for my family, the transition was easy. I mean, granted, if you ask my dad, he'd probably be like, it's not easy at all, Jay. But my family was just very supportive, and so were my friends. And because everyone was so supportive and everyone knew that like this is what I wanted and that I'm also that type of person that I literally had a friend ask me, put it in better perspective, a few years ago, Jasmine, I want to invite you to my wedding, but will you even be in the country then? And so it's like this perceived norm with my friends and my family that I'm the traveler, the adventurer, the one that leaves. And when it came to saying goodbye to them, it was a lot easier, even though a lot of times they didn't know how to say goodbye. But for me, it was just like, y'all know, like, I will always be here. I always got you. Like, if anything, 2020 has taught us that we can still do these communications with each other through Zoom, through Google Meet, whatever Duo on my phone. And when I put it into that perspective for them, they were like, I'm not even worried. Go have fun. Bye. I'll see you later. I'm coming to visit. So it was easy for me to go. It's something I wanted so badly. And also at the same time, like, there's just a lot of stress, like from my job, like from the world of therapy, because I was a physical therapist in the US. And just all that side of it that was becoming too stressful and like wearing me down, making me hate therapy and stuff. So between like my friends saying like, oh, do what you need to do, and then my work burning me out, I was ready. I was like, let's go today. I'm ready today. And like culturally, some things I'll miss about the US, but as I've been here more, like I can find all these things here, and it's things that I miss, like people and stuff. Like just like a long distance relationship, you have a long distance relationship with your family and your friends at this point. Like you're always going to be connected. It's not like they're going to leave you, and you're not leaving them really.
So how did you feel, Tuomas, before Jess moved to Finland? What did you do to prepare yourself, but also to be prepared for that there's going to be another person that's going to live with you?
I tried my best to clean the apartment, like kind of prepare that. did. You can see from her reaction that it could have been better. But I'm still I'm unsatisfied with what I did for the apartment. And of course, we completely redid everything.
Been there, done that, man. It's you just have to get some plants. That's
Oh, we already got a plant.
Yeah.
Got a plant.
Well, I think we're gonna get more. But then the waiting process itself was very stressful because of the COVID. There's this constant uncertainty of will she get through the airport into the plane, and will they let her into the country? And even though at that point all the signs were very strongly suggesting that she will be able to come, it was still very nerve-wracking. But when she called me, it was almost midnight my time when you got to the airport and through the security.
Oh, that day was so stressful.
Yeah, that point, it was a huge relief. The worst was behind.
For you, it was. Oh, that whole journey was a trip and a half.
For long were you dating on long distance?
It was about 3.5 years.
And then we were friends for about a year before we started dating.
Yeah.
So 1 year of friendship and 3.5 years of long distance relationship. And the story how you guys met is also quite interesting. Maybe you'd like to share that story with us.
It was this competitive Pokémon community, and I just happened to join the same, we call them leagues. There are a few people who play against each other, and then someone wins. And I joined the same league as her, then hung out there together, and I helped her with the Pokemon stuff because apparently I was better.
Didn't you win the league 3 times?
I think so.
Because he was better.
And yeah. But then about after a year I'd been there, we just started talking more at one point. She was doing her clinicals, practice for her physical therapist studies. And it was in such a time that it was easy for me to do a call at that point. So it kind of became a daily thing. And then eventually I asked you to be my girlfriend. And that's where it started from.
It was so funny. That day he asked me out, I just remember looking at my phone, I don't want to get on the phone with him today. Something's going to happen. Something's going to change. I don't know what it is. I don't want to get on the phone today. So I took a nap. And then I woke up and I was like, darn, it's still today. And then he called and yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew something was changing. There was actually another time too. We talked about this a few times, but this sounds so corny. We've sent weird things with each other before online. Remember the time I was talking about some other guy and you're
yeah, I remember that.
You got butthurt about it. And then
I mean, butthurt is a bit of a strong word, but
there's something some drama that happened in our league, and he had messaged me to the side, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna jokingly, he's gonna confess his love for me. And I mean, that's not why he messaged me, but it was still just, I don't know. It was those weird senses we've had in our friendship relationship.
When it started as a friendship, no one of you guys saw it coming that it might develop into a relationship, or did you feel a connection from the beginning? Okay, there could be something more.
No, because I was really into this guy that was in my class at the time and working on myself a lot, just because I was just at that point in my life where I was I need to look within and work on who I am as a human being and go from there. So weren't expecting that at all.
I guess that saying, love yourself before you can actually love someone else. But the visa, because you're currently living in Finland, it's a family reunion visa, right? Or reunion visa, how do you call it?
Reunification.
Yeah, so I'm in the process of the residence visa, and they actually just sent in like supporting documentation on Thursday. But yeah, we're able to apply for that visa because we're getting married, and we'll have our wedding in January. So it's like 50 some days away.
You're organizing the wedding all by yourself. Is that right? Or do you have someone who's helping you out with that?
Pretty much by myself, but it's going to be a very small scale wedding because, she can't have any guests from her side to come. So we decided that I'm going to have many from my side either then. So we have a small wedding at the church and then go to eat to this nice restaurant.
And then an after party at our favorite spot, because he plays pool in a league competitively. And I've met like all of his pool friends and hung out with them every single time I've came out here. And then plus like our other mutual friends in this area. And like we wanted a way to like still try to invite people out, with all the new social norms going around. So we figured it would be easier to just be like, hey, come to this bar. Since you already will probably be here anyways. And then it's real. It has like how many pool tables? It's like 10. It's a billiard hall. Like it has so many pool tables. So it's a pretty cool spot. So yeah, but honestly, we've had to change our wedding plan like 3 different times now. Because at first, before COVID, I had reached out to a travel agent, and we were going to do this whole destination wedding here, and I had like a lot of plans, and then life happened, and then we were trying to do something up north, and now we're on our 3rd wedding plan, which this one's gone good. I planned the honeymoon, I guess I'll say that.
So you get to take care of the fun part, because planning a wedding, I've been through it. When we got married or before we got married, I took care of everything. It's not fun at all. Yeah, you look like
I did my part.
Yeah, I asked you for documents. But
no, in Buenos Aires.
But that was your family taking care of it.
I did some things too.
You were there. Yeah, I love his family, especially his sister, because when 2 years ago when we went to Argentina in January or December and January, we had a second kind of celebration.
Mock wedding, you would say, no? Kind of like.
Yeah.
There was no one like certifying us or anything like that. It was family and friends, at my sister's house. So, yeah, celebrating our marriage with my side of the family, basically. But yeah, it's true. You did a lot for Denmark.
Yeah.
On your side of the wedding.
It can be very stressful, especially we didn't know up to the end or maybe like 5 days before if we will actually be able to get married because of the documents that were necessary and if we did everything in the correct way, because we didn't get feedback regarding to that. So we were like, okay, if we don't hear anything, we'll be fine. And luckily everything just went fine. And after all, it was easier than expected as we got married in Denmark, and the regulation is quite different to Germany. But I would say even like half an hour before, I couldn't believe that we will get married. So that it's gonna happen now. And I believe you guys might feel the same because you were working on that for so long and suddenly it's happening.
Definitely feel that way. Even so we had to go to the church last week or the week before, and I had to prepare proof that I had been baptized in the US. I had to also have an affidavit saying that I've never been married before, and I had all that paperwork in my binder. And when we went to the church and did it, they were just like, yeah, it's fine. Get married, have fun. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, thanks.
By now, our wedding is going to be in 2 months, and there isn't really anything stopping that anymore.
I need to get my dress out of the bag. I carried my wedding dress in my suitcase because I wish the border guard had said something like, you're not getting married, that's not true. And be like, well, here's my dress. Let me through. please. I actually did say this to the one in Amsterdam because he was giving me a hard time. He was like, "Are you getting married?" I was like, "Yes, I have my dress in my suitcase if you'd like to see it." Well, aren't you well prepared?
Yeah, true. You arrived to Finland via Amsterdam.
No, and I originally was supposed to come out through Iceland Air, but then they didn't really have like a sure track of going to Finland. Like they kept canceling, and I was like, I'm out. And so I looked at British Airways and KLM, and like I knew a bunch of people that we have like in our Discord group about helping people get to Finland, and they all flew British Airways, but KLM was cheaper. So I was like, I'll risk it and go for the cheaper one. So went through Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And at the airport that day, like leaving, I left my phone in my dad's truck, freaking out because I had to pay for like extra baggage and all this other chaos. And he's calm because I'm at the airport, checked in. Wonderful.
And from there on, you were picked up by Tuomas.
Yep.
So that was 4 weeks ago when Tuomas picked you up. Now you guys living in a quite small apartment. It's your apartment, right, Tuomas?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I'm living here, so what's the word? Like,
You renting?
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Renting, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've been living here for 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And it's a good apartment, like if you live by yourself. And even right now, it's not, I mean, it's like 19 square meters, so it's small. But it also helped me like not overpack, even though I brought 4 suitcases. Like I still like limited what I had to bring with me because I knew we didn't have much space. And it's also good because we're living like under our means right now. So it's not too expensive and we can take the time to figure out like what type of apartment we want, what location. And like that's a more fun process to do together, I think, rather than have someone do all that side before they get there. I think that's too stressful for that person to prepare, as well as like it takes away a lot of the fun. Like that in a relationship, like you get excited to talk about these times and do these things. Like might as well do them together.
Yeah, that's a really nice part of a relationship. We've been there as well. The first very own apartment together.
Mm. I mean, it would have been crazy for me to actually do it alone. So yeah, it was good. I waited for you.
Yeah, most probably you wouldn't even have looked out for something I would like, because your taste is just quite different to mine. And I looked
for comfort.
Yeah. After all, we found a really nice apartment with a nice view on the bay, and it was quite small as well, but we made it very cozy. And even though we had just like, 40 square meters, it was a studio, we made it work pretty well. And it was really, really nice to live together with someone and having your own, somehow like your own space. Because in my case, I never lived with someone before. So that was the first time moving to Miami.
I mean, you moved with a roommate in Munich.
Yeah, but not with my boyfriend. I never lived with a man together.
Yeah.
So that was a big step for me as well, because I had no idea how it's going to work out to live with my boyfriend, or at that point we were married already. So with a husband. So I never had a husband before. And that was just like, oh my God, what is going to happen? Like, what am I doing here? And what about you? I mean, you guys, Jess, did you ever live with your boyfriend together, like renting your very own space, or is it the first time for you as well?
No, when I was in college, I lived with my guy friends. So I am used to living with guys. And then I think too, the last meetup we had last summer, he stayed out in the US for 2 months. So that was like our test run of living together, because I was working every day and he was, doing his like studies and helping me with taking care of the apartment and watering my plants and all that stuff. So like, because it went well last summer, that's like what also made us like think, yeah, we could definitely close the distance and live together.
It's just like thinking about it, because when I moved to Miami, I remember how nervous Nacho was because he was feeling responsible for a lot of things. And he was feeling responsible for me moving to Miami. I mean, of course, it was my decision. He didn't make me move. He wanted everything to be perfect. And when I sent the first boxes to Miami with my clothes, he started to buy hangers, which were pink. So he bought pink hangers. He started.
I figured. No?
Yeah. I just thought it's cute. So he hung my clothes already. He made some space. He just wanted everything to be perfect. He cleaned the apartment.
Yeah.
Which I had to clean again when arriving, because I have another, kind of view on stuff like that. So pretty much the first thing I did was cleaning it again.
Yeah. But I mean, we moved in with our roommates initially. So we were.
So 2 other men and Nacho and I. So I lived together with 3 men. Quite interesting. But when I arrived, so he really wanted me to feel welcomed. He really did everything to make me feel like at home. And thinking about it nowadays, I didn't think about that at that moment. It was a lot of weight on his chest to make sure, because I was the one moving. I was the one leaving my hometown. I was the one leaving my good job, leaving family and friends behind. The weeks before I moved to Miami, I had I think every second day I cried because I was homesick already. So I was still in Germany, but I was homesick already, and he knew that. So he was like, okay, that's a lot of weight on my shoulders. I really want to make it good. I really want to make her feel comfortable. And he basically did everything possible to make me feel at home. And I really appreciate it. So I can just imagine what he had to go through as well, because it was a huge responsibility for him. And it's something you don't have to experience quite often in your life. So
I even picked you up in Germany.
Yeah, you did. He had to pick me up in Germany. He was afraid that I might not get into the plane to fly to Miami.
Yeah, no, I came 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
That's pretty romantic.
Celebrated her coming to the US with me.
Yeah, that was really nice. But yeah, I can only imagine how Tuomas felt. Even though if it seems like you're super relaxed, but I don't think it's something you'd be like, okay, that's just easy peasy.
Yeah, I guess it was the apartment that I was definitely stressing the most. If it's gonna qualify. It was stressful to before she was able to come here, but like I said before, big part of the stress was just, is she gonna be able to come here at all? And when she did, it was just a huge relief.
What are your plans in general for the future?
What are your plans?
What are my plans?
Your plans.
Okay. I'm going to graduate from the uni in the spring. Then I'm just going to start searching for jobs and just start making some money.
Mine for like closing the distance, since it would be harder to do a medical career in Finland, like right off the bat. That would something that would take like a few years, be proficient in the language and school. So I decided to help like create products for people that are in long distance relationships and to help them close the distance one day too. Like, we started early because Tuomas helps me a lot with the blog too, like reviewing my articles and everything like that. But like we started because when we were first looking up how to close the distance, like we couldn't find any information out there. It was like you looked through very sad Reddit pages of couples that were together for a month, but then ended up not being able to adjust well and stuff like that. So I said we weren't going to be like that. And I don't want other couples to be like that either. Like I want everyone, like we all put in so much hard work to be in a long distance relationship. We should all deserve like a happy ending to that too. And that means like talking about how to adjust to life and how to mentally prepare yourself, and as well as packing and everything else before you close the distance. That's my thing that I'm working on, is to create more and more templates and stuff for people in the LDR community.
So where is it going to be available? Where would we find the guide? And I know that you were working on 50 questions to connect better with your partner and to feel closer to each other.
So on my website, there are the 50 questions, like 50 deep questions to ask in a long distance relationship. And those questions are basically like to help with the reminiscing part of relationships. So like when you have a meetup and like talking about things that were done then, as well as like other relationship building questions to help make you and your partner connect on a deeper level and be able to really work through some of the emotions that don't always get processed because of life gets in the way. It's a way to help slow down your relationship and have like those relationship check-ins. I also have on my website a 5 love language workbook for couples, and it's to help better understand the 5 love languages. Like, sure, we all taken the test, we all know like what our love language is, but how do you use that love language not just for affection, but how do you use that love language when you're upset with your partner? How can you further build empathy with your partner through understanding the love languages? And that also has like a workbook of questions based on your love language to ask your partner. And it also addresses with physical touch, like consent culture. Like, are you okay with me touching you? Like, and what places do you like to be touched? Because you know, everyone has their own story, right? And it's good to be able to talk about those things. And those questions are what give people a platform to like open up those conversations and be able to be more vulnerable. And I just released like the free guide for LDR couples, like for preparing for closing the distance. And on Tuesday, I don't even know the date for Tuesday, but on Tuesday, the Closing the Distance binder set comes out. And like throughout this interview, I mentioned I carried a binder with me a lot when closing the distance. And I created that binder set based off of the binder that I brought. But it's also because we don't know how travel is going to look like after this year. We don't know how the visa process for anywhere is going to look like after this year. So it's a way to help couples better prepare themselves for closing the distance, as well as like getting basic, like not necessarily visa documents, but documents that will better help show proof of your relationship. And the thought is to carry it in the binder so that way, if anytime you get stopped at customs or anything like that, you can present it and show them all your information. And then it also has a lot of self-care tools in there because closing the distance is a very stressful process. Like there are so many emotions you go through. You go through highs and lows every day. So it's good to have like just templates you can use when you're feeling stressed, and as well as providing you some more of those questions to ask your partner before you close the distance, and a way to visibly see like how I can do a relationship check-in with my partner. How can my partner and I still bond with each other during this chaotic time?
So it's basically an all-rounder. So you have several packages before closing the distance, while closing the distance, and after closing the distance. And the information are available on your blog as well as on your website, as well as on Instagram.
Instagram takes you to the website.
Okay, so we're going to put this definitely in the side notes. So for everyone who wants to look it up, you'll find the links in the side notes. Amazing. So that's a lot of work.
I just, like I said before, when we were researching stuff about long distance relationships, it just felt like there was not enough resources or materials out there. And part of my job as a therapist is educating my patients all the time. And because, I have that role in me, like as an educator, like I want to continue that, even though I can't do it in therapy. Like I at least want to do it in this part of my life too. Like I want to show people that they can live the life that they want and have the love that they imagined.
This brings us to the question, what advice you could give couples that are in a long distance relationship, so still dating on long distance, as well as couples that closed the distance recently. Is there anything you think that's important or that's mandatory to know?
For couples still in a long distance relationship, I would say being consistent and showing up for your partner and being consistent and following through with not just actions, but with your word choice, with being mindful of each other's time, being consistent and always showing up for them will do greater leaps and bounds than just communication alone. You can always talk, but if you don't back up your actions and be consistent through the things you talk about, then communication isn't going to take you as far as consistency will. And for people that are about to close the distance, breathe, just breathe. And after you close the distance, really try to work on figuring out what you as an individual are going to do first. And then once you figure it out, you as an individual, work together as a couple to figure out what y'all's goals are together.
Yeah, that's very important. I can just underline that because I didn't do that. Because the problem is, if you're not taking care of yourself, you will load everything on your partner. So you will put all the responsibility on your partner and suddenly he has to deal with it. And that can be so tough on just one person. And I feel like this is also the reason why a lot of couples, even though if they've been in a long distance relationship, like dating on long distance for several years, it just worked out perfectly fine. But once one person has to move and leaves everything behind and has like a picture, because this is what I did at least. So I can just talk out of my experience. I had a picture in my mind and I wanted everything to be perfect. And suddenly you arrive and you feel like, okay, there's still so many things I have to take care of. And suddenly you're not independent anymore. At least I wasn't. And suddenly you're frustrated and so many emotions are coming together. So instead of taking care of myself, I would just load everything on Nacho. And Nacho had to deal with it. And I was like, here, that's my package, take care of it. But this is not how it works. So, and this is also what, if your partner is not strong enough, if your partner, he's overwhelmed with the situation as well. You always have to take that into account. It might break the relationship, no matter how strong it was before, because this is really not how it works. And you have to be very careful not to do the same mistake as I did. And I still feel so sorry that he had to push through it for 3 months, which is a lot of time thinking about it like that. And that's just like, yeah, I couldn't agree more on that. Taking care of yourself as an individual, so you'll be able to take care of others, and to take care of your future life, of the next steps, because it's always going to be like that there. So there's always something you have to take care of, as living together with someone, from another country, another culture. So you'll never have a doubt moment, and most probably you never feel like, okay, I'm settled, because you always have to deal with anything. If it's not paperwork, it's going to be something else. So yeah, that's so true. Thank you for sharing that. So true. Was there ever a moment, may I ask, while dating on long distance, where you guys thought you won't make it as a couple? Did you ever doubt the relationship?
I guess.
We both did.
Yeah. I feel like when those moments we're like never acknowledged or brought it up at that moment. It's usually like much later than we just talk about the past and how we were feeling, and we figure out we were both feeling like the relationship wasn't progressing, and what's the
next step.
Yeah.
We actually talked about this like a couple of weeks ago, because there was like one time, it was literally like last winter, and just it's probably gonna happen to me here, but just like when it gets darker, I just start to think more deeply, and like within, like I just think that's part of winter itself in general. And I was really worried, because I was like, I'm engaged to someone that lives in a different country, and I was just at the start of the process of saving all the money, like, and everything, and trying to like map out like the financial plan I needed for myself. And I was stressing. I was like, am I really doing this? Like, is this like really what I want? Like, or are we just crazy and think that we want this? But we both wanted it, so.
Yeah, that craziness needed to like be like stubborn enough to go through it anyway.
True.
And like, since it's like gotten much better, we're like feeling very good about this again.
Well, it was actually, I think, honestly, COVID, because before, and like on the phone and stuff, like it was just getting so repetitive. It was always the same type of like conversation. Work was repetitive, or at least from my perspective, a lot of things are feeling repetitive. And then COVID hit, and working in a nursing home at that time, and dealing with like all of our COVID patients then, and just, all the information we didn't know about, and like all the scary deaths that were happening. And that was also when I was supposed to go out to see him, and like we were going to do like engagement photos and all this coupley stuff that we had planned and whatnot. So, but like because of all that, like came crashing down, we had to like figure out ourselves like how we communicated better. And that's what I was saying, like the love language thing before. Like I am we're both like equally physical touch and quality time. Like those are two. And before we were like, when we would get in an argument, we would just be over a phone call. But it was like, because like we started looking like more into like the love language, that we were like, oh, well, let's do this on a video call, so you can see my emotions, so you can feel what I'm feeling. And we started to do things like that more, like deeply understand better, like what we were going through, and spending more time like focusing on that. And because of that, like our relationship became a lot stronger.
So you can definitely see that your relationship is strong. Yeah, but I feel like this is really something no one is really talking about, that it's just natural to doubt the relationship and to have minutes or even seconds where you overthink things and where you're like, can this really work out? Is this meant to be? And are we really going to make the next step? When are we going to make the next step? Is it still worth it? And as I said, no one is really talking about it because it hurts to think about it, but then speaking it out loud, it's even worse. We didn't do it either, but I did have those moments. And so, yeah, as we said, we're super excited what's going to come next. And first, Tuomas is going to finish his studies, and then you'll see.
Thanks for reaching out. Like, I'm glad that we were able to link up and do this. Like, it's a lot of fun. Even the pre-call, we had a lot of great discussions. And I'm happy as always. If you ever want me back, let me know. Or want us back, not just me.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, guys. It was a pleasure to talk to you again.
Yeah. So, great rest of your day, you guys.
Right. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you again. Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of International Love Story. As we said, we are going to link the guidebook as well as the Instagram account of Jess and Tuomas in the side notes, so make sure to check it out. If you're not following us yet, follow us on Facebook and or Instagram. It's International Love Story. If you'd like to share your story as well, just feel free to contact us via social media or via International Love Story Podcast at gmail.com. We are looking forward to hear from you guys. Stay strong, take care, and hear you next time.